Do you hear that? Other than my stomach making a noise, my voice speaking, this is what it sounds like in the wilderness.
Yeah, sometimes in life, the early bird gets the worm, and if you get up and you get after it, the magic's absolutely everywhere. That's what's happening right now. So, I'm going surfing.
If you've ever planted a garden before, you understand that that garden needs water. And if you don't water that garden, well, the garden will die. My family didn't get watered. My father tried his best, apparently, but his best, well, it left me broken. A lot like my best friend Daniel Palmer. His father's best left Daniel broken. And I know we're not the only ones this happened to. I see your picture in the paper, in my heart, in the wonder, the reflection on the old city wall. And I'm walking around the park, and I wonder every time why the same old situation comes flying by and by. Living in a wasteland that's forgotten time. I don't wanna be the things that Main Street Here in North America, There's a generational programming. It's been going on for a while, since this land was taken. And, well, if you can't break the patterns of your environment will break you. My father was never meant to have children. He worked super hard as an elevator mechanic. He worked his way up from the shipyards, and to keep his adrenaline going, he went skiing every weekend and windsurfing every weekend. And he drugged me along. The separation between himself and my mother, and the fact that, well, they were kind of following the patterns of the generation before them, everything really began to crumble.
So Daryl and I, we were down in California trying to see if we could make things work out in our marriage. We had just gone out for dinner and we were walking back to our hotel, and the manager was sitting outside, and he told us that he had a message for us and we needed to call my sister immediately. And she said that David had been in a bicycle accident. He wasn't wearing a helmet. David had fractured his skull in 3 places. They were going to keep him overnight. The doctors had said he didn't need to stay in the hospital, but if he tasted something really sweet, we should get him back to the ER, because that would mean that spinal fluid was leaking out of his skull. There had been bubbles in the spinal fluid. There had been a hematoma on the brain. We weren't told any of that. And there was a lot more damage than the hospital had ever indicated. So, yeah, it was a rough period. It was a rough go after that.
Sunday morning, shining light through the mirrors of what perception is. Mine or yours, as we share our morning cup of coffee, and you read the morning news. Same old patterns, what we do. And then the flower on the windowsill says to me, Dave, be still.
Yeah, it's all good, man. The whole stuff is soft. Woo! That's a solid day. Still got more stuff to do. Gotta get home.
My home environment with Daryl was a wild one. He may not drink as much anymore, but when I was a child, he would drink from as soon as he woke up until he went to bed. And he would balance it out with the Prozac that his doctor gave him. And if my father couldn't get a hold of alcohol, he'd get the shakes. It was absolutely terrifying dealing with the manic episodes that he would have. A lot of the times just me with him in the Subaru on our way up to the mountain or on our way windsurfing. I got put on the same kinds of medication. I started drinking like he drank, and it took me a long time to begin healing. But I found therapeutic happenings in the ocean. I was away from the chaos of the land. That's where I began to heal.
Okay, I think there's jet waves coming, so, oh yeah, there are. Fine, just avoid it and get one. Ah, maybe get one, dude. Oh yeah.
Jump in the line. Telling you there, we can fly. Oh. But first I had to go through it all. And I'm realizing in hindsight that I'm grateful. I quit skiing and snowboarding to play hockey. It was because my dad was cheating on my mom with a ski instructor. He would drive us up to the mountain and we'd pick her up at a gas station. My sister and I were usually in the car. I had to tell my mom. But I was lucky because I had Daniel and my grandma and my grandpa. My dad moved back into the house and then out and then back in, and then I got kicked out. So I moved to California to surf.
So tell me a little bit about what it was like when you first met me back in the 90s and I came down to California.
Well, you were froth grom, but maybe a little misguided. Had some friends that maybe were taking it down the wrong path. But you found surfing and you were psyched. Like you did it even though you sucked, and you had a great time. You were always smiling. I remember you probably remembered the stairs at D coming up, and me, I guess I was with Joe maybe, and we saw you, and I was so stoked to see you like going on your own. Like just that's a fucking big step, you know. Yeah, you've changed.
Yeah. Thank you.
Joe was my eternal brother. He would come down and pick me up in Pacific Beach, drive me all the way to Encinitas. We'd go surf, then he'd drive me back to Pacific Beach, just because he knew that it was good for me to be in the water. It got me out of my hectic environment I was living in. In 2005, I hit rock bottom. I quit my job, decided I'd take out a $40,000 loan, moved to Canada to go to film school. When I got back to Seattle, on the way down to California, 2 days after I graduated, I got a staph infection that almost killed me. Then I got the phone call that Joe had been killed by a drunk driver. I started hearing patterns of songs in my head, and then eventually voices. Next stop, the mental ward.
See, back in 1999, I wanted to take away my life. And then in 2006, I almost died from a fix of alcohol and drug-induced psychosis, where I thought that you would save me. But you see, I found out it was me.
I wouldn't be here talking about this if it didn't mean a lot to me. I lost my best friend Daniel Palmer to suicide. Being as close as you could be to it, I carried a lot of grief for a long time. You see, Daniel and I are reflections of our fathers, or therefore the lack of love that our fathers could give to us. And I'm realizing now that if I don't try to heal that pain and let go of that pain, I won't be able to grow. And the only way you can grow is to water the garden.
You shouldn't have nervous breakdowns. You shouldn't have those things you can fix it, you know? It's your breathing. In yoga. I don't know if you know that. Yeah, I bet if you got into that, you could really tap into your creative trip too.
those waves where if you just catch one, you're pretty stoked. And if you make it, you're even more stoked.
Yeah, it was the beginning of a new life. It was finally worth living, and I seen reflections and shoeboxes from my past, telling me stories that I can't be me. You see, yeah, that's what they told me. And then I chased the sky and noticed the patterns reflecting from my eyes, and I was dreaming.
There was one wave.
I was seeing every being and everything's connected. In the heart.
It's totally just hit me like how lucky I am to just be a surfer. Like I'm bathing in this magic water right now, and every once in a while, really good waves come. That's just a sign you can get over any fear in life. So today, I just touched a snake for the first time in my life. Check it out. It's even doing the tongue thing. I'm petting a snake. I'm petting a snake. I think the snake's Jim Morrison.
So what started happening was I started breaking fears. And it all came through meditation and breath work and some guidance. Some guidance from some people that had been through things similar to what I've been through. And that's when I could really let go and create this new life for myself. Past fears, they could disappear. And the traumatic events that had happened in my childhood, well, they're behind me. It's time for me to focus on the now and enjoy that I actually get to experience things like this. And that I can push myself to break more fears. See, as far as I want to go, I can go. I haven't seen my father in over 10 years. I've been vindictive towards him. Mostly because he told me that you couldn't surf in this state. And he would drag me windsurfing and drag me skiing. Well, surfing's changed my life and it's healed me more than anything. And I think it would do it for anybody. And I'd love to get him in the ocean. But I think the best thing I can do is just forgive him. And try windsurfing again. Yeah!
How's it going?
Oh, it's going good, Dad. Things are great.
Good. Well, thanks for the happy birthday wishes. And yeah, you can come down here anytime. Well, they set you up with a little bit of gear. We let them share sails. But probably get out on the water. Good time. Bring your wetsuit.
Oh yeah, I'll bring my wet. I mean, dude, I haven't gone windsurfing since I think it was like 1999 or 2000, and you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably 2001, 2002, because I just got the new sail.
I'm sober these days, so my perspective's a lot different than what my father's is, or my sister's, or my mother's. What I experienced with Daryl was traumatic, so this is a very big deal.
Basically what I forgot is that this place is still kind of Wild West. There's probably rattlesnakes everywhere, and there's spots you can just pull off the side of the road and kind of hide out, you know? So it looks like there's a trail here too. So I'm pretty glad I brought my bike, and yeah, maybe I'll actually be able to relax and kind of enjoy myself, give myself the space and the freedom to take this whole experience in, because it's gonna be wild. Yeah. So this is your guys' shred mobile?
Yeah.
It's all good in the hood. Rad. What's that from getting? That's not all good in the hood.
Quite tight quarters in Baja.
Wow. It's a lot different than the Subaru.
Yeah.
Wow.
Huh? We got it 3 years ago.
And did it take you a long time to do the build?
It took me about 4 to 6 weeks.
Nice.
So it was just a cargo van.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
How far did you guys take it?
We went all the way to Cabo.
Wow.
I built my own solar controller.
Look at that. You get to build and fix things for fun now, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, I made this length so our board fit.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, but it really turned out nice having a little bench there. And put this
Perfect. And because you can even just have your coffee right there or whatever.
Yeah.
Look at all the equipment.
Yeah.
Here's what's crazy. We're time traveling right now, because we're about to go to the swap meet, where Daryl used to buy me really cheap gear and watch me suffer as I was windsurfing. Here we are again, 25 years later. But I have a whole different mentality.
So I'm gonna go too fast, I'm gonna rip the bottom off, eh?
This like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Brand new. Still had the bubble wrap on it for $750.
Wow. That's cheap for a sailboard, huh?
Yeah, most of them are running. If you buy a good one brand new, about $2,500.
Wow, that's an Astro van.
Whirlwind. Yeah, because I'm not going to use the acid today. Yeah, so wait to put the stuff.
You probably can't hear me right now because the train's going by, but you could read my lips. I'm going windsurfing for the first time in 20 years. It's going to be terrifying. It looks really difficult, and I'm probably going to be humbled. But my dad took the time to get me set up, so here we go.
Seasons are changing. Bird friends are gone. They gone south. And I'm here with my wings clipped. I'm here with my wings clipped. I'm here with my wings clipped. Rolling, rolling round. Watching the waves roll, watching the waves roll, watching the waves roll in, and watch 'em roll. It's made me from my soul. I ain't slowing down. I ain't slowing down. I'm just getting around. Round, round it all.
mild concussion. Fucking A. So what's happening? I don't know if you can see me because I got this rope thing on. My sail's too big. So I'm what they call overpowered. So as soon as I get ripping, oh, I just get absolutely flipped over. Dude, it's gnarly. So I might call it quits for a little bit and recharge. My brain feels scrambled. But I'm making progress. It's just once I get in the foot straps when I'm overpowered, it's terrifying actually. I hit my head super hard again. Like, pretty damn hard. Ah.
My father's happy when he windsurfs. And Maman, my stepmom, Carol, she's cracking him into shape. She's starting to make him hold himself accountable for things. And that's really entertaining for me to watch. But I'm taking a lot home with me on this trip. I'm happy that my dad's found something that makes him happy. And I can let go of all the other stuff. Because that's what it's about. It's about love and letting go. I'm taking that home with me.
So, I'm about 10 miles outside of Forks. If I get the van there, life will be good. Oh, we got 2 more hills. Transmission's dusted. We got this. We got this. We got this. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. We're totally gonna make it.
We didn't make it. The van's broken down. And I only make $12,000 a year. I think right now is the best time for me to start watering this garden. Right here, right now.
Whenever anything ends, there's a new beginning. So the sooner that you can go inside yourself and accept that whatever step in your life is ending, it's leading you down a path towards something that's new. And as we know, things that are new are sometimes difficult because we are used to the patterns and I guess the settling, the complacency, the convenience of what our realities are when there are few challenges. But where the real growth comes in is where the challenges are. And I'm at that point right now. The van's done. I'm sitting in it. Don't really know what's next. And in the past, as I've said many a times before, I would look at this like, well, why does this keep happening? The reason why this keeps happening is because I'm not able to observe these exterior things from the interior or the other way out to understand that there needs to be some form of a shift or an adaptation in the reality that I'm living. But see now, from doing the meditation every single day, all of the chaos that goes around when these kind of incidents happen, all you have to do is go inside yourself and you can change it all. So that's what I'm doing. And I am, to be honest, I'm scared, but I am also extremely excited because I've had some ideas of things that I would like to manifest. And when things die and things end, a lot of energy gets sent off into the what have you, and that cleans out a completely open energy for you to create whatever you want. And I think it's time. Yeah.
Sometimes I struggle with the fact that I saw some pretty wild things, but I realized that if I hadn't seen the darkness, if I hadn't been the darkness, I wouldn't see the light. And now I am the light. But I'll tell ya, a lot of the big shifts came in isolation, when I could remove myself from the distractions of the exterior life, force myself into nature, true nature. That's when I realized I'm spirit. Yeah, I might be in this body, but I'm spirit. And I'm eternal. And I'm forever. And I'm you. And you are I. That's why we exist here on Mother Earth. And I'm grateful for it all. The universal light. 5, 6, 7, 8. Spring happens to bring, you bring me to my knees. The morning light gets beat by